The stars were full of death. Fleet Commander stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Conquest. He was tall even for his kind. His skin was marked with scars from many battles. His 4 eyes looked at the blue planet growing larger in the window. Earth. Such a small world, such an easy target. Behind his ship, the greatest fleet ever made stretched across the darkness of space. 9,700 warships. Each one was bigger than anything the humans had ever built. Each one carried weapons that could burn cities to ash in seconds. 12 million soldiers waited in those ships, soldiers who had conquered 100 worlds before this one. Smiled, his sharp teeth showed. This would be simple. "Commander," said officer, walking up to him, "we will reach Earth orbit in 6 hours. "Good," said. "What do we know about their defenses?" Checked his screen. "They have 47 ships, small ones. Their weapons are weak. Their shields are basic. They discovered space travel only 30 years ago. They are children playing with toys." Laughed. The sound was cold and cruel. Children indeed, and what of their ground forces? Less than 2 million soldiers across the whole planet. They fight each other more than they prepare for us. They have no idea we are coming. This was true. The Dominion had watched Earth for many years. They had studied humans from far away. They had learned their languages, mapped their cities, counted their weapons. Humans were weak. They killed each other over small things. They could not even unite their own world. "They will make good slaves," said. "They breed fast. They work hard. In 100 years we will have billions of them serving our empire." He turned to face his officers. They stood at attention, waiting for his words. "Today we add another world to the Dominion. Today we show the galaxy that nothing can stand against us. Send word to all ships. Prepare for invasion." The message went out. Across the massive fleet, soldiers checked their weapons. Pilots warmed up there. Everyone was excited. This was going to be easy. But on Earth, someone was watching. Admiral Park sat in a dark room deep under a mountain in Korea. Screens covered every wall. Each screen showed something different. Satellites, radar systems, deep space sensors hidden in places the aliens had never found. She was 53 years old. Her black hair was turning. Her eyes were tired but sharp. She had spent her whole life preparing for this moment. Everyone had hoped it would never come, but she had known. She had always known. "Admiral," said a young officer. His name was, he was nervous. His hands were shaking. "The count is confirmed, 9,700 ships." Park did not move. She did not show any fear. Inside, her heart was beating fast, but a leader could never show fear. "Our fleet." 47 ships, ready to launch. "No," her voice was calm. "Keep them hidden. We do not show our hand yet." Looked confused. "But Admiral, if we do not fight them in space?" "They expect us to fight in space. They expect us to line up our little ships and die bravely." She turned to look at him. Her eyes were like ice. "We will not do what they expect. That is how we win." She stood up and walked to the main screen. The alien fleet was a cloud of dots, moving closer every second. "They think we are children," she said. "They think we are weak. They have studied us for years, but they have learned nothing. They see that we fight each other and they think this makes us weak. They are wrong." She pressed a button. Red lights began to flash in bunkers across the world. In hidden bases under mountains, under oceans, under frozen ice, soldiers woke up from their sleep. "We fight each other because we are good at fighting. We have practiced war for 10,000 years, every generation, every century. We have made killing into an art form. And now, for the first time in human history, we have a common enemy." Watched as maps lit up across the screens. He had known about some of the hidden bases. He had not known about all of them. There were so many, under every continent, under every ocean. Millions of soldiers, weapons he had never seen before. "Admiral," he whispered, "how long have we been preparing for this?" "Since the first day we discovered we were not alone," she smiled, but there was no warmth in it. 30 years. We have spent 30 years getting ready. We let them watch us. We let them think they knew everything. But they only saw what we wanted them to see. In a bunker under the ocean, Sergeant opened his eyes. Red lights were flashing. He knew what that meant. He had trained for this since he was 16 years old. He got out of bed and walked to the weapons room. His team was already there. 8 soldiers, the best of the best. They did not speak. They did not need to. They had practiced this 1,000 times. Picked up his rifle. It was not like the alien weapons. It did not shoot light or plasma. It shot metal, simple, old. The aliens had stopped using such weapons a long time ago. They thought they were primitive. They were wrong. In a city called, Captain Shin watched civilians enter underground tunnels. Thousands of people, moving in order, no panic. They had practiced this. Every city had practiced this. The world had been getting ready. "How long until the aliens arrive?" asked a young soldier beside her. 6 hours, said, more than enough time. Time for what? She looked at the empty city around them. The tall buildings, the wide streets, all of it was about to become a trap. Time to prepare their welcome. Above Earth, the alien fleet came closer. They had no idea what was waiting for them. They thought this was just another conquest, another easy victory. They were about to learn a very important lesson. Never invade Earth. The alien filled the sky like a swarm of metal insects. Commander watched from orbit as 400 ships descended toward the planet below. Each ship carried 125 soldiers, 50,000 of the Dominion's finest warriors, dropping toward a city called. "No resistance," reported officer. "Their ships remain hidden. Their weapons are silent. They are afraid." Nodded. This was what he expected. Primitive species always froze when they saw real power. "Tell the ground forces to secure the city. Take prisoners. I want the leaders alive." On the surface, they landed in the empty streets of doors opened. Soldiers poured out. They were tall creatures skinned with 4 eyes that could see in all directions. Their armor was silver and shined in the morning sun. Their weapons hummed with energy. Squad leader looked around. Something was wrong. The city was empty. No people, no vehicles, no movement at all. "Where are they?" asked one of his soldiers. "Hiding," said. "Find them, check every building." The aliens spread out through the city. They kicked down doors. They searched rooms. They found nothing, just empty homes, cold food left on tables, toys on the floor, signs of life that had vanished. "This is strange," said into his communicator. "The city is abandoned." "They probably fled," came the reply from command. "Cowards, continue the search." High in the mountains above the city, Captain Shin watched through her scope. She could see the aliens moving through the streets. They were relaxed now. They thought they were safe. "Wait," she whispered into her radio. "Let them go deeper." Around her, 10,000 soldiers lay hidden. Some were in the mountains. Some were under the city itself, in tunnels and basements. Some were inside buildings that looked empty but were not. The aliens kept moving. They spread out more. They lowered their weapons. Some even took off their helmets to look around. "Now," said. The city exploded. Buildings fell on landing zones, crushing under tons of concrete and steel. Bombs hidden under streets detonated, throwing alien soldiers into the air. And from every shadow, every window, every hole in the ground, humans appeared with weapons blazing. Was thrown to the ground by an explosion. His ears were ringing. Around him, his soldiers were screaming. He could not understand what was happening. He looked up and saw a human running toward him. It was a young female. She was small. Her weapon was simple, just a metal tube, nothing like the advanced plasma rifles his people used. She pointed it at him and fired. Something hit his chest like a hammer. Then again, then again. He looked down. His armor was broken. There were holes in it. He was bleeding purple blood. This was impossible. Their armor could stop plasma bolts. How could it fail against something so primitive? He fell. The last thing he saw was the young human female running past him, already shooting at someone else. Private was 17 years old. She had never killed anyone before today. Her hands were shaking, but she did not stop. She could not stop. Her instructors had told her this day would come. They had trained her for years. Now she had to use that training. The aliens were bigger than her. They were stronger. Their technology was better. But their shields were made to stop energy weapons, not metal bullets traveling faster than sound. Their armor was made to spread out heat, not block solid impacts. They died just like anything else. Fired at another alien. The bullets tore through its armor. It screamed a horrible sound and fell. She kept moving. Do not stop, never stop, that was the rule. All across the city, the same scene played out. Aliens who expected an easy conquest were being torn apart. Their shields flickered uselessly against kinetic weapons. Their advanced sensors could not find enemies hiding in places they never thought to look. In one street, a group of aliens tried to form a defensive line. Humans threw grenades from windows above. In another area, aliens retreated toward there only to find them destroyed. In the harbor, aliens who tried to escape by water found boats full of soldiers waiting for them. Squad leader was still alive, but barely. He dragged himself toward that was still working. Other survivors joined him. Their proud silver armor was now covered in dirt and blood. Their 4 eyes were wide with fear. "Get us out of here," someone screamed. The lifted off. Below they could see the burning city, bodies everywhere. Their bodies, thousands of their soldiers dead in less than an hour. "What happened?" a soldier asked. His voice was shaking. "What are these creatures?" No one answered. They did not have an answer. Commander received the first reports with disbelief, then anger, then something he had never felt before in his long military career. Fear. 44,000 casualties, officer said. His voice was quiet. Only 6,000 made it back to only 12 escaped. Stared at the screen. This was impossible. A primitive species could not do this. They had sticks and stones compared to Dominion technology. Commander said, "We are receiving a transmission from the surface." The screen flickered. A human female appeared. She had dark hair turning. Her eyes were calm and cold. "I am Admiral Park of Earth," she said. "This is our response to your invasion." Said nothing. He could not speak. "You may send more troops. We encourage it. Every soldier you land is a soldier who will never return. You came here thinking we were weak. You were wrong. You came here thinking we were primitive. You were wrong. You have made a terrible mistake." She leaned closer to the camera. "You still have time to leave. Take your ships and go home. Tell your leaders what happened here. Tell them that Earth is not a world to be conquered. If you stay, you will learn the true meaning of fear. Because we have been practicing war since before your species could walk, and we are very, very good at it." The transmission ended. Stood in silence for a long moment. His officers watched him, waiting for orders. Finally, he spoke. "Send the second wave, all ground forces, every soldier we have." Commander said carefully, "Perhaps we should reconsider." "All of them," roared. "We have 12 million soldiers. They cannot kill us all. Deploy everything. Burn their cities, crush their resistance. I want this planet in ashes by morning." The order went out. Thousands more began to descend. More soldiers than Earth had ever seen poured from the sky. Admiral Park watched them come. She was not worried. "They are angry now," she said too. "Angry enemies make mistakes. Let them come. We have plenty more surprises waiting." The real war was just beginning. 3 weeks had passed since the invasion began. Commander had not slept in 5 days. His skin was turning pale. His 4 eyes were red and tired. He stood on the bridge of his flagship, staring at reports that made no sense. 800,000 soldiers had landed on Earth. They had the best weapons, the best armor, the best training in the galaxy. They controlled nothing. Not one city, not one village, not even one building. Every time they took a position, the humans took it back. Every time they thought they were safe, they died. "Commander," officer said. His voice was weak. He looked as tired as felt. "We have lost contact with Base 14. "How many soldiers?" 3,000. Closed his eyes. 3,000 more, added to the millions they had already lost. What happened? "We do not know." The last transmission said everything was quiet, then silence. This was always how it happened. The humans never attacked when you expected it. They attacked when you felt safe, when you relaxed, when you thought the danger was over. Deep in a forest far from any city, Sergeant and his team moved through the darkness. There was no moon tonight. The darkness was complete. Normal beings could not see anything in this blackness. But in his team were not normal. They had trained for years in complete darkness. They did not need eyes. They had other senses: sound, smell, touch. They could feel where their enemies were. The alien base was ahead. 3,000 soldiers, sleeping in their tents, trusting their sensors to keep them safe. But the sensors looked for technology. His team had no technology, just simple clothes, simple weapons, and years of practice. "Go," whispered. His team split up, 8 shadows moving in 8 directions. No noise, no trace. The first alien guard died without a sound, a knife across the throat. The body was hidden in bushes. The second guard died the same way, then the third, then the fourth. No alarms, no warnings, just death moving through the camp like a ghost. Reached the power station. He placed a small device against it, a timer set for 30 minutes. Then he moved to the water supply, another device. Then the communication tower, another device. Around the camp, his team was doing the same thing, planting surprises, killing quietly, leaving messages. When dawn came, the aliens woke up to a nightmare. Their power was gone, their water was poisoned, their radios did not work, and bodies were everywhere. 200 soldiers killed in their sleep. Some had been arranged in strange positions. Some had words carved into their skin. Words in the alien language, words that said, "We see you even in the dark." The surviving soldiers panicked. They started shooting at shadows, at each other, at nothing. By the time they calmed down, 300 more were dead from friendly fire. And's team was already gone, moving to their next target. On the flagship received the report. His hands were shaking. "They come at night," he said to himself. "They always come at night." He was not the only one afraid. Fear was spreading through the whole fleet. Soldiers refused to sleep. Officers refused to leave their ships. Everyone had heard the stories. Stories of humans who could see in complete darkness. Stories of soldiers who vanished without a trace. Stories of outposts found with everyone dead, but no sign of any battle. General, the one who had called this invasion a formality, tried to keep control. He made speeches about courage. He threatened to execute cowards. He said the humans were just using tricks. Then General died. He was found in his quarters on the flagship. The door was locked from inside. His personal guards had seen nothing, but someone had gotten in, someone had killed him, and someone had left a note on his desk. The note said, "You should have listened." No one knew how a human had gotten onto the ship. The flagship was in orbit, far above the planet. It had the best security in the fleet. It was supposed to be impossible. But here was a dead general, and a note written in perfect alien script. Major was already gone when they found the body. She was crawling through maintenance tunnels, heading for the escape pod she had hidden 3 days ago. She was small, even for a human, which was why she had been chosen for this mission. The tunnel she used was only 30 centimeters wide. The aliens never guarded it because they thought nothing could fit inside. They were wrong. had spent 6 years training for this, living in darkness, learning to fit through impossible spaces, learning to move without making any sound, learning to kill without any weapon at all. The general had been easy. The hard part was getting on the ship. The killing took only seconds. She reached her escape pod and launched herself into space. A human rescue ship, hidden in the debris field around Earth, picked her up an hour later. "Mission complete," she reported. Admiral Park nodded. "Good, now they know nowhere is safe." Back on the flagship, Commander ordered all tunnels sealed, all vents covered, guards everywhere. But it was too late. The damage was done. His soldiers were calling the humans by a new name now. They called them the Eyeless Ones, creatures who could see without light, demons who walked through walls, monsters who could not be stopped. One young soldier, just arrived from home, asked a simple question: "How do we fight something we cannot see?" No one had an answer. In a hidden base on Earth, Private First Class Lee Jinnah was preparing for the next phase. She worked in psychological operations. Her job was not to kill enemies. Her job was to break their minds. They had captured some alien prisoners, not many. They treated them well, gave them food and water, did not hurt them. Then they showed them videos. Videos of human history, wars, battles, the terrible things humans had done to each other for thousands of years, the weapons they had built, the ways they had invented to cause suffering. "This is what we do to people we call family," the videos explained. "Imagine what we will do to you." The prisoners did not last long, not from pain, from understanding. They had invaded a species that had practiced violence longer than their civilization had existed. After a few days, Jinnah would release the prisoners, send them back to their own people. They were not hurt, but they would not fight anymore. They could not. They had seen too much. And every returned prisoner spread more fear through the alien ranks. 3 weeks into the invasion, the Dominion was not conquering Earth. Earth was conquering them. One nightmare at a time. 2 months, 63 days of hell. Commander looked at himself in the mirror. He did not recognize the creature staring back. His skin had turned almost white. His 4 eyes had dark circles under them. His hands would not stop shaking. 3.2 million casualties. That was the number. 3.2 million soldiers, dead or missing or broken beyond repair. The greatest invasion force in galactic history was being eaten alive by a species that had discovered fire only 100,000 years ago. His officers no longer looked at him with respect. They looked at him with fear. Not fear of him, fear of what would happen next. Every day brought worse news. Battalions disappearing in the night. Outposts found in the morning with everyone dead. No signs of battle, just bodies arranged in patterns. And always carved into the walls a single word: run. The humans had started returning prisoners now. That was somehow worse than killing them. The returned soldiers were not hurt, not a mark on their bodies, but they were broken. They would not speak. They would not fight. They just sat and stared at nothing. Sometimes they whispered in the human language, words they had learned somehow. Monster, nightmare, devil. Had ordered the returned soldiers quarantined, then executed. But it did not help. The story still spread. Every soldier knew that if the humans took you alive, you would come back as something less than alive. In a dark room on Earth, Private First Class Lee Jinnah watched another prisoner break. This one had lasted longer than most. A tough officer, proud of his service, certain of his people's superiority. Jinnah had shown him the videos, the old ones first, ancient humans fighting with swords and arrows, brutal but primitive. Then she moved forward through history. The invention of gunpowder, the first guns, the first cannons, the wars growing bigger, deadlier. The officer watched with growing horror as humans invented new ways to kill each other. Poison gas, machine guns, tanks, bombs that could destroy whole cities. This is World War II, Jinnah said calmly. 60 million dead, mostly humans killing humans. The officer's 4 eyes were wide. This is the atomic bomb. One weapon, one city, 80,000 dead in seconds. We built thousands of these bombs. We pointed them at each other. We came close to using them, multiple times. The video showed mushroom clouds, cities burning, the end of everything almost. We have weapons that could kill every living thing on our planet, Jinnah continued. We chose not to use them, not because we are kind, because we wanted something left to fight over. She leaned close to the prisoner. Your people think you are warriors. You are children. You have never faced an enemy like us. We have been perfecting the art of killing since before your species existed, and you walked into our home and threatened our families. She smiled. It was not a warm smile. There is no mercy in us. There is only war, and we are very, very good at war. The officer broke, not from torture, from truth. He had invaded a world of monsters who had been fighting monsters for 100,000 years. 3 days later, he was returned to his people. He never spoke again. On the flagship, whispers spread through the halls. Officers talked in secret. They used words they had never used before. Retreat, surrender, escape. Executed 3 officers for cowardice. The whispers continued, just more quietly. Then Earth played its final card. Every screen in the fleet flickered. Every communication device crackled. Admiral Park's face appeared everywhere at once. She had hacked their entire network. Every ship, every soldier, everyone saw her. Your commander will not tell you this, she said, so I will. Her voice was calm, cold like ice. You have lost 3.2 million soldiers. You have lost 4,100 ships to orbital defenses you did not know existed. You control nothing. You hold nothing. You have gained nothing. Tried to shut off the transmission. He could not. His own ship would not obey him. But here is what matters, Park continued. We have been fighting at 20% capacity. The screen changed. Images appeared. Underground factories stretching for kilometers. Production lines building weapons day and night. Training facilities with millions of soldiers. Orbital platforms hidden until now, powering up their weapons. Felt his blood freeze. We have been studying you, learning your tactics, analyzing your technology. We have taken your weapons apart. We have made them better. And now we are ready. The image returned to Park's face. Her eyes were like death itself. We are done defending. Now we begin hunting. She leaned forward. You have 12 hours to leave our system. Every ship remaining after that will be destroyed. Every survivor will wish they had died with their vessels. We will follow you home. We will burn your worlds. We will teach the entire galaxy what happens when you threaten humanity. She smiled. It was the most terrifying smile had ever seen. Your 12 hours begin now. The transmission ended. Silence filled the bridge. Then chaos. Officers screamed at each other. Some wanted to fight. Some wanted to run. Some just wanted it to end any way possible. Colonel, second in command, pushed through the crowd. He stood before his commander. It is over, said. We must retreat. Never, screamed. We are the Dominion. We do not run from primitives. They are not primitives. His voice was quiet but firm. They are something else, something we should never have disturbed. We have lost almost half our fleet. We have lost millions of soldiers. And they say they were only fighting at 20%. He put his hand on his weapon. I am ordering a retreat, Commander. You can come with us or die here. The choice is yours. Looked around. His officers were backing away from him. Their weapons were pointed at him now. This is mutiny, he whispered. This is survival, replied. Something you forgot about the moment you chose to invade that planet. Across the fleet, the same scene played out on ship after ship. Commanders who wanted to fight were removed, sometimes peacefully, sometimes not. The aliens began to retreat, but they were already too late. Admiral Park watched the fleet start to break apart. Some ships were turning to run. Others were holding position, still hopping to fight. She pressed a button. Launch all ships. It is time to show them what we can really do. From hidden bases across the solar system, the true Earth fleet emerged. Not 47 ships, 412. Ships that had been built in secret. Ships using alien technology made better by human minds. The hunt had begun. The battle was not a battle, it was a slaughter. Captain O stood on the bridge of her ship, the Indomitable. Around her, the Earth fleet moved like wolves through a herd of sheep. The alien ships, once so proud and powerful, were dying one by one. Target their engines, ordered. I want them running, not dead. Dead ships do not carry stories home. Her weapons officer nodded and fired. The plasma beam cut through an alien cruiser's engines. The ship went dark, drifting helplessly in space. All across the battle zone, the same thing was happening. Earth ships were faster, stronger, better. They had studied alien technology for 30 years. They had taken it apart and put it back together. They had made it better. The aliens had created these weapons thinking they were the best in the galaxy. Humans had proven them wrong. Commander stood on his bridge, watching his fleet die. Ships exploded around him. Escape pods filled the darkness. His great invasion force was becoming dust and debris. All ships retreat, he screamed into his communicator. Full speed to the jump point. Some ships listened. They turned and ran, engines burning at maximum power. But the humans did not let them go easily. They chased them, picking off the slower ships, letting some escape just far enough to see hope before cutting it off. The Eternal Conquest tried to run too, but it was too big, too slow. Human ships surrounded it like sharks around a wounded whale. Commander, officer said, his voice was defeated. They are sending boarding parties. Grabbed his weapon, then we fight. With what? Half our soldiers are dead, the rest are broken, we cannot. An explosion rocked the ship. The lights went out, then came back on in emergency red. The humans were inside. Sergeant moved through the alien flagship's corridors. She was not the scared 17-year-old who had fought in anymore. 2 months of war had changed her, made her harder, made her colder. She had requested this assignment personally. She wanted to be there at the end. Her team of 20 soldiers moved fast and quiet. They had trained for this. They knew every part of this ship from stolen plans. They knew where the bridge was. They knew who was waiting there. Alien soldiers tried to stop them. They died trying, did not hesitate anymore. She did not shake. She just killed, then moved to the next target, then killed again. They reached the bridge doors. Heavy blast doors meant to keep attackers out. Breach it, ordered. Her team placed explosives. Everyone stepped back. The doors blew inward. Was the first one through. The bridge was chaos. Dead and wounded aliens everywhere. Screens showing destruction and defeat. And in the center, Commander pointing a weapon at her. He fired. The plasma bolt flew toward her face. She moved, not fast enough to dodge completely. The bolt burned across her shoulder, but she did not stop. She raised her own weapon and shot the plasma gun out of his hands. Then she shot both his knees. Fell screaming in pain. Purple blood spread across the floor. Walked up to him slowly. She looked down at the creature who had ordered the invasion. The creature who had called her people primitives and slaves. You came to conquer us, she said. Her voice was quiet, calm. You thought we were weak, simple, easy to control. She crouched down beside him. We built cities and burned them down. We created empires and destroyed them. We invented weapons that could end all life on our world. And then we chose not to use them. Not because we could not, because we wanted something left to fight over. Looked up at her with pain-filled eyes. His arrogance was gone now. Only fear remained. We are not primitives, continued. We are the most dangerous species in the galaxy. We have been practicing violence since before your kind existed, and you walked into our home and threatened our families." She stood up. "You will live. We are sending you back to your people. You will tell them what happened here. You will tell them what we are, and you will make sure no one ever makes this mistake again." She turned and walked away. Her team secured the bridge. The war was over. In the end, only 17 ships escaped. 17 vessels out of 9,700, carrying less than 50,000 survivors out of 12 million. They fled at maximum speed, not stopping until they reached the edge of the solar system. But even then, they did not feel safe. They would never feel safe again. Admiral Park stood on the observation deck of the main defense station. She watched the last enemy ships disappear into faster-than-light travel. Beside her, Lieutenant was quiet for a long time. Finally, he asked the question everyone was thinking. "Do you think they will come back?" Park did not answer immediately. She watched the stars, thinking about all the worlds out there, all the species who might one day look at Earth and see an opportunity. "Someone always does," she said finally. "The galaxy is vast. There will always be those who think they can succeed where others failed. They will hear the stories and think they are exaggerations. They will look at our small world and see weakness instead of strength." She turned to face him. "That is why we never stop. We never relax. We prepare, we train, and we wait. And when they come, whoever they are, we remind them why Earth remains unconquered." In the weeks that followed, the Dominion collapsed. The survivors' stories spread across 1,000 worlds. Stories of humans who could see in complete darkness. Humans who never stopped fighting. Humans who turned fear into a weapon more devastating than any bomb. Some species did not believe the stories. They thought they were exaggerations made by cowards looking for excuses. But the wise ones listened. They looked at the numbers. 9,700 ships sent, 17 returned, and they understood. Earth was not a world to be conquered. Earth was a warning. Across the galaxy, star maps were updated. The small blue world in an unremarkable solar system was marked with a new symbol, a symbol that meant the same thing in every language. Forbidden. On Earth, life slowly returned to normal. Cities were rebuilt, fields were replanted, children went back to school, but things had changed. Humanity knew it was not alone now. They knew there were dangers among the stars. And they would be ready. Sergeant, now a lieutenant, stood at a memorial inn. Thousands of names were carved into the stone. Soldiers who had died defending their world. Friends she would never see again. She placed her hand on the cold stone. "We did it," she whispered. "We won." But she knew the truth. This was not the end. This was only the beginning. Somewhere out there another species was watching, planning, thinking they could succeed where they had failed. They would come eventually. They always did. And when they came, humanity would be waiting. Not with fear, not with doubt, but with the same cold determination that had saved them once before. Because humans did not lose wars. They survived them. They won them. They became stronger because of them. And they would never, ever be conquered. The stars were full of dangers, but they were also full of opportunity. And now the galaxy knew the truth about the small blue world that had seemed so weak. Earth was not prey. Earth was the predator that every other species should fear. And it was finally awake.